Hello, welcome once again to Fan Formula. This week, animated Abu Dhabi, and first of all, a lot of people have been complaining about the last few races, how boring and lack of interest, lack of overtaking, lack of incidents have been. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Yas Marina Circuit 2012. What a race was that, eh? It was absolutely fantastic, so much going on every single lap. Even on the safety cars, there was people going off the track. Vettel surged through the field. Several racing incidents. Some brilliant overtakes, and I think we all could safe to say that's probably one of the best races of the season and one of the best races for a couple of years. Definitely played a big part of the title race. I was hoping Alonso could get a few more points to make it interesting right to the very end of the season, but I think with Vettel just finishing right behind him, I think it gets him the box seat for the last two races, definitely. But what a race, eh? I mean, I think everyone could, safe to say, that's probably the best race of the season. Well, let's crack straight in with the fan formula question, shall we? With so many incidents in today's Group E, which one do you think was the biggest mistake by a driver? Well, a lot of the incidents between cars coming together, I suppose you could class down as racing incidents. I mean, Webber probably had a couple of occasions where he obviously didn't give enough room to the other driver. When Button and Vettel come together in the corner after the first straight, they're definitely giving each other enough room, and a lot of the younger, more inexperienced drivers weren't really doing it. But I don't think, as the penalties showed, there wasn't that many that would really put the blame on one or the other driver. The the only one that I'd say was probably the bigger mistake was Sergio Perez coming when he had a good battle with Di Resta. Brilliant driving between the first two drivers for that first section, and they did the right thing by getting out of the way. But Perez coming back on the track, didn't check, went straight back onto the racing line and gave Grosjean nowhere to go. And that was by far the biggest mistake, and he deserved his penalty. Got stop and go penalty for that. So, which was the right decision. But most of the other incidents, even though there's some pretty horrific stuff, I mean, Rosberg's trip across the back of Karthikeyan, which was definitely supposed to race up, got the first safety car out and bunched the track up. That was quite a big incident, but again, apparently Karthikeyan had engine trouble, so you can't really put the blame on him for that. A couple of the other incidents, of course, the first corner one was just Hulkenberg got himself in between a sandwich between the Sauber and Di Resta. I think it was Senna and Di Resta. Senna had an interesting race, he had a few tough battles there, and as did Vettel. Really, I mean, what a race was that? I mean, E2 had a couple of mistakes. Again, I think it was with Senna. Obviously, he just didn't expect the speed to come from Senna, and he lost half his front wing, and then that silly mistake as well, going beyond Ricciardo down the straight, hitting the DRS board, which was a silly mistake, not paying attention. But the way he surged through the field, granted they had a lot of help with a lot of cars dropping out, but of course I think, if I'm just going to go back actually, to Saturday, first of all, I caught most of the qualifying in some lovely woman's house who was in at the time. Thank you, whoever you are. Job on the road, I suppose. But I managed to cut the qualifying, and I pretty much left as soon as the Hamilton had guaranteed his pole lap, so I didn't check. I didn't realise he'd stopped down the track. I didn't find out until about 11 o'clock on the night that he'd gotten the penalty, but I was hearing it was about 5-6 hours after. And what are the FIA doing, really? They've got a rule book. They know what the rule was. They had this problem with Hamilton where he stopped out on the circuit, and why did it take them so long to come to that decision? It's really strange, and I don't understand how they go about their business. I mean, surely these penalties should be standard, and they should really know within 20 minutes of the end of the session. I mean, we had that big debacle earlier in the season where, of course, it was Vettel had overtaken Button off the circuit, and it took him ages to do that. This time around, Vettel also took, I think it was Grosjean off the circuit as well. I didn't actually see, but I think he did give this place back, which was good work on the Red Bull side. But Vettel definitely did a really interesting race, and the way he come through the pack, he was really brilliant. But the fact that he was disqualified from the Saturday's qualifying meant that he could set up his car for overtaking, which what Red Bull never do. They've always set the car up to go fastest over a single lap. That is what is their setup. That's why they struggle overtaking sometimes. Their strategy is to get pole, get out in front, and then dominate the race. So switching Vettel to an overtaking strategy, new gearbox, new ratios, probably tinkered with the rear wing and whatnot. Really got to see the more aggressive side of Vettel, which is a lot of people have come to say, oh, he's got it too easy, he can't overtake, he's just a one lap one day, but he definitely showed what he can do out there today, and he apart from a couple of little incidents, he definitely had the pace, the patience and the skill to overtake Button, who again drove a very safe race. In the end, I think the tyre strategy with Vettel having 2 stops, not through his own intuition, but through the fact that his front wing needed changing, definitely played into his hands. According to the end of the race, he managed to run his race strategy really quick lap times, and he didn't have to preserve the tyres whatsoever, even though the tyres were lasting pretty well this season. And I've realised I've already 6.5 minutes in, I'm not even on to question 2 yet, so... But actually that pretty much leads on to question 2. Who was the most impressed across the weekend and why? And it has to be Vettel, because the way he come through the field, even with all his dramas, with the front wing, a few collisions, he has to be the driver of the weekend. Of course Alonso as well had a pretty good weekend, but I've not even mentioned him yet, and it's brilliant for him. And of course it has to go to Kimi Räikkönen for a brilliant win. I think it was handed to him. I'm really disappointed with Hamilton having engine troubles again, and it's McLaren's heel this year. They've keeping losing places and winning positions, and it's probably the reason why he's actually decided to leave. He's had a lot of problems at the beginning of the season. He's had a few DNFs, problems with pit stops, and what really impressed me is the way he came out after the race. He was very calm and explained his race, and he didn't seem to be worried about it at all. I think he's very safe in the knowledge of his decision. I think he's happy with it, and I think you might even see a better Hamilton next year. I mean, he's improved a lot this year as well. He's I remember in the old days people used to call him with a hot head and very self-righteous. I don't know if that's the right term to say, but but this season he's really matured, and he seems to take it on the chin today, which is really good of him. But my driver of the day is Vettel, but well done Kimi, because that was a brilliant drive. And of course, as you see in the next question, a bit further on, we'll talk about him later. Question 3. 3 drivers who did not finish today's race, so also yet to sign contracts for next year. Which one do you think is the most at risk not featuring in the 2013 season? Well, for starters, Grosjean seems to be a big hit with Lotus. He did the best of races today, but that wasn't really through his own fault. He got caught up in a lot of other people's dramas, especially with the incident with Perez and Di Resta and Webber, which, to be honest, it was brilliant watching driving, especially when they're in close contact like that, but it's an unfortunate end to what was a great race for them drivers. Especially Perez, who really put in a good shift, and it was just unfortunate. He could have really gone on and pushed a bit high up the field there. To be honest, I don't even know where everyone finished at the end, because it was that much of an exciting race. They didn't really keep track of everyone. But I think so. I think Grosjean will keep his seat. I've carved Kane and Pick. With these drivers, I suppose you're looking at sponsorship. That's the thing that they've got to bring into these lesser teams. I thought it was a good day for one of these lesser teams to get some points today. They weren't far off with all the cars dropping out, but it wasn't to be. The faster guys kept ahead of him. But Carver Kane and Pick, I think, really have to watch the backs. I mean, if I'd say anyone, I do rate Pick as a driver. I watched him in, I think it was Formula Renault a few years ago, and he definitely has a talent. Carver Kane is... obviously brings a lot of money through India and through sponsorship, so I'll probably say Carver Kane will probably be one who's going to drop out if any of them, but either of him and Pitt could go out, and of course a few others as well. It was a good race for Kobayashi today. Kind of snuck up into the top six, I think sixth. I think he finished, which was a good race for him. Some solid points for Sauber. And of course the construction championship's hotting up now, isn't it? I think Ferrari are pretty much I would say they're pretty safe for second in the championship. And with Kimi's win today, I do really think that they're in a chance of getting third. I've said this before because again, gremlins with McLaren. So might as well knock on with the bonus question. Kimi made his comeback with a special one with some typical Kimi quotes, which is my favourite. Well, I could have listened to his radio all day long. I know they've got that option on the Sky Sports website, I think. But the stuff he was coming out with, it was just brilliant and gold. And I will definitely have to go and watch the podium interviews again because there was some very choice language, but it doesn't hold back Kimi, and that's what I like about him since he's come back. He's really expressing himself in a way where he wasn't before, in his own special ways. He's not exactly the most outward going character, but he's very self-driven, and he says what he doesn't mix his words. He says what he means, and it's such a great, I suppose, to hear stuff like that over the radio. I wouldn't like to be his race engineer, put it that way. I mean, I suppose a lot of it you couldn't even broadcast some of the stuff he was probably saying to him, but I really think if I had to choose my favourite, it was that moment. I think when he was on about warming his tyres in the second safety car period. I can't remember exactly what the words were, but it was kind of like the way of, "Don't talk to me. I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. I know what to do." You know, that's the way he's doing it, and the way he's going, like when he's gone his fastest times, that's it. You're doing a great job. You're 5 seconds ahead of Alonso. He says, "Don't talk to me. Be quiet." And you know, it's just brilliant. It's quite good to hear someone talk like that. And of course, it's great to see him winning again. There's a bit of part of me would love to see Schumacher win in Brazil because it's the one thing he never got when his time coming back to Formula 1, and I think he deserves it for what he's done to Formula 1, and he's not done a bad job at Mercedes. He's helped the team grow, and I think it'll be a brilliant way for him to bow out. It's a shame that he hasn't got a win in his 3 years back, but it's great to see Kimi back in it, and he's pretty much had the most consistent season of every driver. Really, he's pretty much finished almost every race in a good points playing position, and he's done. He's absolutely excellent, and it'll be I'm guessing they'll keep the same team next year, and I think Lotus could go on and have a really good year next year. Maybe even pick up a few more race wins and challenging further up for the constructors title. I don't know if he'll be fast enough for the drivers, but you don't know because how consistent he is. And I went really posh there. I don't know why. Yes, but yeah, very well. So great. Yes, that was my favourite this week. It's a long one. I think it's definitely my longest one so far, but I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I'm just great and happy to see great racing again. I mean, the last few races have been very disappointing, not much on action, but the amount of action this weekend was absolutely amazing. And I'm so jealous of certain people who've gone to that race because it looks like such an exciting weekend. The way I seen about it today, I thought about it, to think about it, and I thought it's like all of the razzmatazz and glamour of Monaco, but on a circuit where a lot more action can take place. And I think that's what I've always liked this circuit quite a bit. And it's definitely thrown up a great race this weekend, even if it hasn't in the past. But I'm so happy to see Formula 1 looking at it after Saturday's controversy, a race on Sunday that really lived up to all the hype of Formula 1 and what was a great weekend of racing. So therefore I have to pay a bit of thanks for that, for ramping it up a bit. But yeah, that was definitely a great race, and many more. USA, a couple of weeks' time. That promises to be another exciting race. Again, I've said it a few times, I think it suits the Red Bull car, but you don't know really, because this season keeps throwing up these weird and crazy situations, and many may continue for many more years. I look forward to the next two races, and I definitely look forward to Brazil, where I hope to be meeting a lot of you for the first time, hopefully. and it definitely looks like it's going down to the wire. So, well, I'm going if I could have a betting man up, I'm betting on Vettel to win the title now, but let's wait and see, because this season's still got a few turns to go round yet, and a few DRS zones to hit, and a few failed curves, and a few punches. So the way the season's going, this could be one of the best finales ever, and even better than the finale over 8. We don't know, but we'll wait and see. So until next time, this has been my fan formula for a brilliant Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Thank you, and good night.